Yes.
Well, yeah, but if it's just like, well, today it was kind of cold, but not crazy cold,
Hmm.
like in the wintertime. But I was just wondering because I thought maybe I should put a hat on, but it was
I
okay.
always have a hat.
Has there been, I haven't been watching the news because I'm not available to watch the news, but
Hmm.
has there been like a drop? The COVID cases, are they really going down or you think it's going away?
They're going down, but a phenomenon is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And that phenomenon is the number of the number of COVID cases has gone down,
Uh-huh.
but the mixture or the mutations or the conjugations of the COVID-19 viruses, the variants,
Mm-hmm.
like the Omicron and the BA2 version, the Delta version, and the Omicron version merging together to create a new strain.
Mm-hmm.
Those kind of things are happening right now,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not happening in a way in which the cases are going up to where we have a lot more hospital beds.
Right.
But the mixture of the two different viruses coming together to create another strain,
Mm-hmm.
that's what's crazy. And even though these strains aren't putting people in caskets to the same degree, something is brewing. Something is brewing because a couple weeks ago I mentioned the number of the deer that are in the wild that are getting the alpha version of the COVID vaccine of a COVID virus,
Mm-hmm.
COVID-19 virus. The deer in the wild. NPR did was reporting that the alpha version is kind of like running in high levels in deer, and that's the version we dealt with 2 years ago. So if it's going into deer, and now it's going into cats and dogs, it's going into birds. Some kind of way this thing is going to be processing other mutations and other variants, and some kind of way it's going to cycle back around to us. That's my opinion. And that's just from what I know about how viruses
Mm-hmm.
and let's say bacteria, all of these little chimera, all of these little microorganisms do. They pick up genetic material as they live and as they advance. Now, one of the things that we have to understand, I was talking to somebody yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
or was the day before, and we were talking about penicillin. I
Mm-hmm.
said, when penicillin first came out, it killed everything. It dealt with everything. Then, this, as a society, our morals, excuse me, our morals got less to where now I can do that thing that I couldn't do before. You know what I'm talking about. And I got a remedy for it.
Right.
And so what happens is now the bacteria that survived penicillin, they picked up a genetic component called the beta lactam ring, and that ring was a ring that made it resistant to penicillin.
Mm-hmm.
So now you take penicillin, and it does nothing to the bacteria that's inside of your body that it could treat
Mm-hmm.
months or years ago. And so this is why the whole medical community is up in arms about not giving antibiotics, because we know that something's going to survive the antibiotic hit, and it's going to be stronger. It's going to be more viable. It's going to be more virulent. It's going to have more capacity to do damage inside of the human body and the human genome. And that's where we still have to always, you notice I still have my mask.
Mm-hmm.
They've removed the mask mandate. That's not good enough for me. Because you think it's not happening. People are still carrying Omicron,
Yeah.
BA2. Some people are still carrying Alpha. And then all these variants are somewhat exchanging, mutating with each other, exchanging genetic material. And 2 years from now, or let's say 6 months from now, we don't know what we're going to have. And will the vaccine, because people are still dying even with the vaccination.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to
Yeah.
scare people, but I just want to bring the truth.
Yeah, yeah. They are. They absolutely are. Wow. Our phone lines are open. This is a great conversation starting off. So,
We've been talking about the virus for a long time.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I think we still will be talking about it for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
One of my patients said to me, well, I quit listening to your show because you became a COVID-19 show. You became a COVID virus show.
Because every week you were
And, I
listening.
thought about it and I said, well, the man, Bishop Mel Griffin,
Yeah.
the man, he and Pastor Mike Reed, Bishop Mel lost a daughter to COVID.
Yes.
He's going to talk about that for a long time.
Yeah.
And I have he has my condolences, and I'm with him. I'm going to talk about health. That's what the show is. Let's talk about health.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what is going to be around. How can we get better? How can we get healthier? One of the things I was telling somebody this week, I said one of the things I've always tried to do is get better. I always want to be better. I don't want to be the same as I was. I don't want to be unchangeable. I want to get better. I mean, like I feel good today.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I look good because still rubbing my eyes and stuff, But I feel strong today. I'm almost 65 years old, and I feel like I'm 35 years younger
Amen.
than those numbers say. I feel like I'm 30.
Yeah.
I feel strong, but I'm doing a little exercise. And I'm pretty much eating right. Connie, that's my wife, is fixing some wonderful meals. But I'm trying to eat as natural and as raw as possible. One of the staples that I have in my diet, cucumbers, tomatoes. Almost every day I'm eating several tomatoes. And some Dr. Gundry talks about not eating tomatoes because of the lectins and all that stuff. I believe him, but if your gut wall is intact, you're not going to have any micro leakage into your body if your gut wall is intact. So and it's a veggie that's good for you. My granddad taught me when I was a little boy how to make a tomato sandwich. Mayo, a little salt, and tomato. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Yeah, see, you're not from down south.
No.
But down south, that's what my granddad, Bishop Paul, taught me to do. And every now and then I have a taste for that. But it's a vegetable. Then I'll eat cucumbers. I love cucumbers.
I do too.
And whatever that's green, because the green chlorophyll molecule helps cleanse your blood so that if anything does cross the blood-gut barrier or whatever, that lumen, intestinal lumen, if you have a lot of green stuff in you, you can put it in check. So I'm not I'm not a proponent of junk food, even though I'll eat it every now and then, but that's not my diet.
No.
But I feel strong, feel good, and I feel energetic. Like I said, I hit the gym a little bit, and I operate in the gym like I'm a 60-something-year-old man.
You're
In
not
other
going
words,
in there going,
no. I'm not in there doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm doing as light, as little as possible. I heard a young man talk the other day, and he made a statement. He said, when he goes to the gym, he said the first day, didn't feel nothing. Second day, nothing. Third day, nothing. All the way up to like 30, 40, 50 days. And seemed like nothing changed. But then all of a sudden, over time, he noticed, wait a second, I'm stronger. I feel better. I'm more energetic. And so this thing that we do in the gym, Scripture said bodily exercise profits little. But the one thing that it does is it does profit, but it's little. There are other things that are more important for your spiritual life, your spiritual growth. But bodily exercise is one thing we have to do. We live in a world in which everybody's pretty much overweight, under-exercised, and non-challenged physically. And so when we were slaves, and I'm going to say this, and some people might not like hearing this, when we were slaves as African Americans, as Africans, as Americans, we were designed to do extreme work, extreme tasks. Look at it from an athletic component. athletic perspective. Most of the time when we're in athletic feats, we're at the top. We're at the top. Our bodies were designed physically to operate at a higher level. We're in the sun, we're getting all that vitamin D. We're in the heat. We're in the atmosphere. We're breathing oxygen. The air is clean. I'm talking about centuries ago. And we were designed to do a lot of work. Now, the way we were put in, let's say, slavery, that was wrong. The Middle Passage, all that stuff was wrong. That's a big problem. But we as people of God and people of African descent, we were designed to do a lot of physical labor. When you put us in anything physical, we can handle it. And then when you put us in anything that's, let's say, academic, and we try and we work hard, we can do it. Anything, mathematics, physics, all that stuff, we can do it. But we have to go get it. We can't just lay back and let stuff come to us. That's one thing I learned a number of years ago. And I don't know if I'm talking about anything about health, but we have to go get it. You have to have a positive mindset. I'm going to take this. It's mine. I'm going to get it. I'm at the optimal level. I'm not stopping. I'm not slowing down, but I'm going to get it. If you don't have that mindset, you won't accomplish what you need to accomplish. I learned that as a young man. Go get it. Go get it. And maybe because I was raised with 7 brothers and sisters, and I'm the oldest, and we were always competing for something, attention, whatever, but you have to go get it.
Well, you'll be happy to know that I had a physical this week. A lot of us who were working online during COVID, especially the first year, we all put on, I know I gained like 35 pounds.
Wow.
And that's like the average for everybody, around 20 to 40 pounds, somewhere in that window. So I said, this has got to stop. I can't make it up to the second floor. The third floor is out of the question. If, It's like I was feeling really super, super bad.
Yes.
Like this is terrible. It's like, am I that old? And I just had a birthday 2 weeks ago. And it's like, am I that old where, I can't walk around like a normal person? Well, one of my friends gave me one of those watches to, count your steps and your heart rate and all that. So I said, I'm going to have a physical. So me and one of my friends had a physical. They did EKG. I was worried because I just lost a cousin.
Yes.
I just lost another relative.
Wow.
This is the 4th one in 2 years. To a heart attack. He had a heart attack, young, gone, just like that.
How old was he?
52, I think.
Wow.
But you never know. I mean, he was at work when it happened. He was at work, and it just scared us all a lot. And we know he had put on a little weight. He had a heart attack like 5 years ago, and you know how people do. They're in hospital, they're scared them half to death. They got a second chance. They go and lose all the weight, gained it all back and more. So, the heart thing. But he was saying that my heart rate from my last physical, which was 2 years ago, before COVID, was faster. And I said, what does that mean? He said it was elevated. And that just kind of scared me. She didn't really explain, but she said, but we're going to work on that. And, other than that, blood pressure was good. Everything else was good. And she's like, are you sure you're that old? And I'm like, yeah.
Let me ask you one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Was it thyroid? Did
No.
she talk about your thyroid?
No, said it was
because
good.
sometimes you can have a thyroid issue.
Mm-hmm.
It won't show in the blood test.
Yeah.
You like that 1 to 5 number. It's not anything outside of that 5 or under that 1 where your thyroid is in a bad situation.
Right.
But you can have thyroid storm.
Mm-hmm.
Thyroid storm is a condition where it will elevate your heart rate. My heart rate is higher than it was 15 years ago. It's much higher. And I don't like that, so I'm working to bring it down, and I'm doing the substances that will bring my T-roxin, my T levels, the thyroxin levels down, because a lot of times you can have thyroid storm. But one of the things that happens with thyroid storm, your heart rate does go up, but you won't gain weight with it. You'll lose weight with thyroid storm. If you have thyroid insufficiency, like then you can gain weight. The thyroid is a major metabolic gland in your body that regulates your metabolism. And as it's going through, it's trying to regulate the T4 and these are levels of thyroxine in your body, and balancing this out and sending, there are 3 relay switches in your brain that the thyroid kind of sends messages to. And these, they operate at a very, let's say, parasympathetic level where you can't consciously control them. So you'll be agitated and irritated, or you'll be super calm. And all this stuff is regulated by your thyroid and that metabolism. And when you deal with that, you can gain, or whatever's happening, you can gain the weight. But usually if you gain weight, your heart rate is probably trying to, using some of its thyroid energy to get your whole physiological system in homeostasis or in balance. And so that's enough of my talk on that right there. But you want to really check the sugar. I'm telling you, check the sugar, check the carbs, because during the COVID, I wanted to gain weight. Didn't gain a pound. Trying to gain weight.
You're lucky.
Yeah, trying to gain weight. But I told my church a number of years ago, a bunch of the sisters in the church, we had this chart. I said, I want to gain 22 pounds. Never gained the 22 pounds. I'm still at the same weight that I was then, which is honestly the same weight that I was when I went to college as a freshman 40 some odd years ago. So that's kind of a blessing, but I want the weight because I did gain weight, went up in weight for a season, but then it went back down and I can't put it back on. But I don't want the weight. I want the weight for the looks. You know, it flushes out the wrinkles. It gives you a little bit, you know what I'm saying? When you
nice full face.
Nice full face and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. But it's vanity, really vanity. Mm-hmm. But I don't really need to gain weight because, getting off the couch is easy for me. Standing up is easy for me. Running up a flight of stairs is beautiful. But the sugar is what, that toxic substance is shifting people. Like fructose stimulates the liver in a way in which it produces weight gain. So anything with fructose in it, high fructose corn syrup, they have a lot of new names for stuff now. The manufacturing is getting real slick. Crystalline fructose. They'll call it a slightly different name because they don't want you to know what really is in the product. Because high fructose has gotten a bad name. That process that the Japanese invented a number of years ago to produce high fructose corn syrup. But fructose is fructose. It's sugar. It's sugar. Glucose is another sugar that we need from a metabolic perspective. Glucose is the sugar that's transferred across your cell membranes into the cells, into the mitochondria, in like the endoplasmic reticulum. Let me talk for a minute. Inside of that area where energy is made that creates the action potential that produces life. And when you have this going on inside of the cell, you need glucose, but you need it in balance. Some people don't metabolize glucose properly, diabetics and people who have pancreatic insufficiency, people who have insulin resistant. They don't metabolize glucose the proper way. And there's so much new research coming out now. Dr. Mark mentioned to me a number of weeks ago about the Samoji effect, about where your glucose raises in the middle of the night because your liver breaks down the fat in your body, produce glucose to get ready for the day. So I sent him an article this week that talks about the Samoji effect because I was reading that article. And it's amazing. But glucose is what you need because it's the one sugar that something went down, something went wrong with my hearing over here.
It's not your hearing.
I saw your face. Yeah. Something's not quite right with this microphone right now. But and he didn't touch any buttons. I didn't see the producer Mike touch any buttons. He didn't do anything, but something went wrong. But Glucose is something that you need. You got to have it because if you don't have it, you won't live long, or if it's being metabolized wrong, you're going to have a problem with doing what you need to do to go forward, healthy wise in life. So it's always good to have your sugar levels in balance. I check mine often. I believe it's good. But getting back to what you're talking about, the weight gain is probably, you can't get around what you eat. I don't care what anybody says, you can't get around what you eat unless you've got some kind of a liver problem in which your liver doesn't know how to metabolize the things. It doesn't know how to process certain things. Sugar creates that problem. Sugar creates that problem for the liver because fructose causes the liver, it gives the instructions to the liver. All the other food this person eats, you need to store that as fat. So you'll find yourself gaining weight if you eat a lot of fructose, a lot of stuff with any of the extra types of sugars like dextrose, maltose, galactose, fucose, arabinose. All these are sugars. All these are sugars. Thank you.